Welcome back, everybody. I hope you're all excellent. We've got the Zoom 9030 on the desk today. Zoom. My first ever processor was a Zoom 707. It may have been your first ever processor as well. And Zoom, to me, are kind of synonymous with all the sins of budget digital gear. I do understand they have units like the G5 and things like that out at the moment, which I've been meaning to demo for a long time. Believe me, I'm getting around to doing that. But the 707 I featured on the channel before, and it is what it is. But that funky little unit was probably responsible for me persevering with guitar. The fact that it had so many weird and wild sounds that I didn't even have to know how to play guitar. I could just hit an open string and use a step phaser or something like that, and it would give me a cool sound that made me want to play around with sounds even more. So that unit probably started it all for me. Now, this particular unit is pretty beaten up. There's knobs missing and a whole bunch of other stuff. It mostly works really fine, and I have to say a massive thank you to my buddy Stu Marshall for sending me this a while ago. I finally got around to demoing it. And Stu's an amazing guitar player and producer. He's a bit of a metal legend here in Australia. So this was his. So it's also got a kind of cool little personal connection for me there as well. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to put this in an effects loop of my Axe effects. We're not going to show off the amp modeling or the distortion. I couldn't get the distortion to work, but the time-based effects and just about everything else works fine. Let's just play around with it and see what we get out of this thing. I'm not expecting much. If I can get like 1 or 2 usable effect types out of this, then this thing gets a pass in my book. Let's go. All right, before we get started, this is the sound that I'm using with the 9030 out of the chain. And let's just kick it into the chain. You can hear there's a whole bunch of noise already. This is what it does in bypass mode. And for my ears, I can hear a real subtle change there already. I'm going to mute this while I'm talking as well. Just in kind of like the quality of the bypass tone. I'm guessing this doesn't have analog dry through as we might come to expect with a bunch of gear these days. But that's not the point. Let's have some fun with this thing. We've got modules that you can activate, and there's different effect types in each module. It's basically like a preset kind of signal chain going from stuff like a compressor, distortion, EQ, amp, and then time-based effects. But there's some pretty fun stuff in here, so we should check it out. I'm going to start with this module right at the end, which is delay and reverb. Let's just kick it in. I think it's on a ping pong delay. All right, I like that. That's a decent delay straight away. You can tweak, what can you tweak? You've got to lean right back like this. The time, the feedback, there is this high D. I'm guessing that's like high frequency dampening, and then mix. That's kind of cool. We can select different things, like maybe let's try a reverb. I'll try reverb number 1, back to that kind of clean-ish tone. Not the world's greatest reverb, but it's usable, it's fine. There's a couple of other modes, like there's a multi-tap delay in here, which you can kind of set the way it pans around the stereo spectrum, which I think is pretty cool. That's kind of cool. There is that control in there, which I think will let you do left, right, or like basically left to right or right to left. That's interesting. Let's just bypass this. Let's hear some of the special effects modules. Well, we have this like effect 1. Now we've got just kind of a generic phaser in here. So there's a generic kind of phaser, chorus, and then we go into things like the auto wah. All right, that's not terrible. It definitely works. You just have to set up that input volume and the sensitivity in there. What do we got next? We got this cry. I'm guessing this is like a cry baby. No, that is crazy. That's like a formant kind of thing. That is cool. I bet if this was in like a box that said electro harmonics on it, people would be super into that particular sound. We've got Met. I don't know. Wow. Met. I don't know what that is. It kind of sounds like a weird resonator. We've got DBL. I'm guessing that's like a... Prem? That sounds really good. I love the trem in this. There's an octaver. I'm guessing that's struggling with the pitch detection the way I've got it set up, so we won't give that one a grade for now. Piwa. Kind of another kind of filtery wah block in there as well. Cool, I kind of like that. Let's see, where's the step phaser? It is here in this module. Like I said, my old 707 had that step phaser, and it's kind of close to my heart. That is in no way the world's most pleasant guitar sound, but it brings back some memories. What else do we have? We've got another trem, we've got another flanger, another chorus. Oh my god, that chorus is thick. That's awesome. Wow. I think between the trem, the step phaser, and this chorus, this unit's already got a pass in my eyes. Let's just take that, and can we add on, there's an AFL module out there for all the Aussie Rules football fans. I don't know what that does. Let's just use that and the multi-tap delay, and maybe not the multi-tap, maybe the ping pong. I think I like that better. That's enough to kind of cover up my sloppy playing, so that's really, really cool. There is like a special effects mode in there, which, am I brave enough to even try that? What do we got in here? I just have to hear what AFL does. I don't know what that is, but that is absolutely wild. Well, this is a harmony in C major. Kind of getting some of that. We've got AFL, we've got, what's this? BND. I'm guessing this is like a kind of whammy block. That's wild. That's almost like a slow gear, but for pitch. It must be like some kind of, I'm guessing like envelope vibrato effect or something. That's really cool. I wonder what that's like with distortion. Not so much with the distortion, but you can... It's like a fake slide. I've never seen another effects unit that can do that. That is really, really cool. Am I falling in love with this thing? I really, really wanted to hate it, but there's some pretty unique effects. I mean, it's not like pristine like a lexicon, or we haven't tried any of the amp modeling or distortion. The distortion I just can't get to work. I don't know if that's because of the unit being busted or something, but yeah, we're stuck with these tones from my Axe effects, so maybe that's making everything sound really good. But just for these weird effects, this is kind of cool. SCR. That's definitely like a talk box format kind of thing. BOM. Don't know what's going on there. You'll notice that I'm not kind of twisting a lot of knobs, because I've only got one knob to cover 4 knobs in there. I was going to say, what on earth is zit? But I'm guessing that stands for zither, because this kind of sounds sitar-y. That's interesting as well. Alright, there's a compressor in there. There's some other kind of like vanilla effects, but yeah, that's the Zoom 9030 or 9030, however you want to say it. That chorus number 3 is totally worth it for me. That's really, really cool. The ping pong delay sounds really good. And, you know, there is something in those kind of weird effects, like that auto pitch thing. And the step phaser is really cool and unique. And, you know, I wouldn't recommend really anyone rush out and buy this thing. It's very, very 90s digital effects. But, you know, those effects are now kind of considered vintage, and I'm sure there was a time when people looked at old fuzz faces and old Les Pauls and went, why would you want those pieces of junk? And then, you know, it turns out they became classic pieces of gear. I'm not saying this is going to become a classic piece of gear, but, you know, if you can find one of these really, really cheap slash, you know, in working condition, then it might be worth it just for being able to sit around for half an hour once every now and then and just kind of pull some wild tones, let alone some good sounds. I mean, that chorus in there is ultimate 80s. It's really, really thick. The ping pong delay works. Sure, there's not a whole bunch of things you can tweak in there, and I didn't really do a bunch of tweaking. I just kind of just changed effect types. I'm sure there's a lot more things you can do with that if you twist some knobs, but that's the Zoom 9030. It's definitely better than my old 707. Far more tweakable. The actual kind of tones and the layout is a lot more usable. Yeah, I don't know. What do you reckon? Did you have one of these back in the day? Do you still have one? Is this a piece of gear that you might go on Reverb or on eBay and kind of check out and maybe grab one for yourself? Let me know in the comments. very, very curious little piece of half rack gear. Again, a massive thank you to my buddy Stu for sending me this. This has been a whole bunch of fun to play around with this unit. Otherwise, thanks for watching the video. Stay safe, be good to one another, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.